What's up, everybody? Assalamu alaikum, man. We're back. I'm back with another video, man. This is Jubilee. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Jubilee. Do all Muslims think the same? I'm already gonna say no.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Just because people are different, people have different perspective, different culture, different way of thinking of life. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We're about to watch this, and make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're new. Just Allah. And let's watch the video.
Hey, good humans. Welcome to another episode of Spectrum. This is Michael.
Hello.
I'm Ian, and stick around at the end. We're going to talk a little bit with you guys.
Believing men and believing women. Same level.
No, disagreed. I have in the court of law, the Quran explicitly states
I'm sorry.
2 female witnesses carry the weight of 1 male, and that's why I stood over there.
Interesting. I have no idea what this is. This is self-reflection.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. This is one of the 5 pillars of Islam is to pray 5 times a day. Interesting. Now, hold on. If the question is, do they think the same? I don't understand how they put I pray 5 times a day. That's not what you think.
I guess it's well. There's 2 different.
You know what I'm saying?
I get what you mean, but I feel like some people may think like praying isn't really like a big deal. Some people think it is, but again,
I think
sometimes you think it is, but it's hard to do.
I think they should have rephrased the question. If it's gonna be, do all Muslims think the same?
Yeah, that's true.
3, 2, 1.
Are we gonna participate on this? Oh.
I don't understand. How do you somewhat agree, strongly agree? Like that, the question doesn't make sense.
They pray 5 times a day.
I don't know how to answer. I don't know how to answer this.
I wish I was there with you guys. Like it's honestly, it just gets really hard. Like it's just 5 times a day, and it's like spread throughout the day. We all live like young professional lives, and it gets kind of in the way. And
I don't know
if I could quantify it,
He said they all live young professional lives. I mean, I'm not here to judge nobody.
Honestly, it is hard.
It is hard. It's
a struggle, and I mean that's a reason why,
I think it's definitely harder for younger people because of how like, I don't know how to say it, how much juice you have. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. To answer your question about you think if you don't think that's a good excuse, I feel like it shouldn't be an excuse, but I understand his
reality.
situation.
Yeah, like what was I gonna say?
Especially being in America where there is such a minority being Muslim.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand, like, hey, you gotta pray at this time. And like, of course, not all companies will let you off, just to pray a 5-minute prayer.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the company. I'm pretty sure it doesn't take that long. You know what I'm saying? Between wudu and praying, it probably take you like maybe 5 to 8 minutes total. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what prayer you're doing. But at the same time, I was gonna say something, but I have forgot. He said, what did he say?
He said that.
Oh, being young. I think it's harder to pray when you're young because you feel this like sense of
that you're not gonna
immortalness.
die.
You don't think like, I could die tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And older people, they be like, alhamdulillah, you reach that age. You reach that age where you're like, oh, I'm starting to wind down. I'm like 99. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh my God, So, and that's not an excuse for young people. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of old people who, when they were younger, might have not have prayed as much, but as they gotten older, they pray more. You know what I'm saying? And that's not bad. You know what I'm saying? It's not saying it's a bad thing that, well, you need to pray. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You need to pray. That's the whole reason it's there, is to keep your connection. You know what I'm saying? And
but I understand. And I feel like with me, I don't know about you, but like I feel like there's some times where I feel like I have a lot of juice and my prayers are like on point, on time, every day, 5 times, and then I go months like just not praying, and then it's like a wave, and I think it did state in the Quran, don't quote me on that, something about like your faith is like a wave. Sometimes you're really, really high in faith, and then other times it's like so low. And it's a struggle, but we're still trying, you know.
Definitely.
I'm averaging about 3 out of 5 prayers. I think I will find myself in prayer more when I'm in desperation. It's not something that's subjective.
That's so
but
true.
for sure. But I feel like the question was weird with the whole, do you think Muslims are, like, I strongly agree that praying 5 times a day is important, but I don't know.
I know we should be all praying as a requirement.
I just want to say it takes a lot of guts to be honest and say that. I honestly believe that if you feel it in your heart that you have a strong relationship with God, God will have mercy on you with whatever you're dealing with. So
being on this line doesn't mean it's like a piece of cake to do the 5 daily prayers. It is a struggle, it's a challenge. I was working in a corporate environment where I could not comfortably find a space, so I'd have to go pray in the car, in the parking lot.
Wow.
So it is a challenge, but yeah.
Kudos to her.
Islam promotes violence. 3, 2, 1.
What would you say? I would strongly disagree. It does not promote violence at all.
Yeah, it's just a huge misconception just because the Quran was based on an era where war and you know, taking tribes and stuff was the thing back then. Like people live in those times.
My bad if I kept the subscribe button on. I just turned it off. Anyways, I don't know. Nobody has come up to me talking about doing anything like that. I don't know. A lot of times being ignorant, meaning not knowing something, you tend to like go with the hearsay or whatever. And a lot of times in the media, it's beneficial to people within either the media or whatever to say certain things, and then, you know, now the majority of people think that, you know what I'm saying? Just like for example, if you're from a different country, just like if you're from America and you go to another country, they're gonna think you're a certain way, or the people you are a certain way. Well, when they come here, they go, you know what I'm saying? So it all goes with the territory, and until you experience / get to know the truth behind something, you can't judge. You know what I'm saying? And also, don't judge the religion based on the people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because people, we're imperfect. You know what I'm saying? Like we do things every day that make us seem like terrible people, whether you're whatever religion you are. You know what I'm saying? So judge the religion based on the books, the book of the religion. Don't judge the religion based on people.
And I understand why some people would think is violent just based on the Quran if you read it like just based on reading it. Like I said, it came from an era where wars and what do you call it, like
disputes?
No, like conquering land was a thing.
Yeah,
like
that's definitely a thing.
Yeah, but if you read it and you understand at what time it came from, why it was revealed, what it means, like the story behind it, when it was revealed, you'll understand like, oh, it's not about like violence, it's beyond that.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to cut down trees during war. We're not allowed to hurt children and mothers. We're not allowed to hurt our own prisoners. And when people associate terrorism, something so disgusting, with Islam, it hurts me because ISIS targets Muslims more than they target anybody else.
And in the age of Google, there's no excuse. Like, if you don't know that Islam means peace, Islam means surrender, being a Muslim is one who submits their will to God, how is that violent?
I agree with her, but at the same time, you got to be careful on Google, because Google will lead you most astray. You know what I'm saying? Lead you down. You know, like we all know, you get on Google or YouTube and you're looking up, you know, basketball, and the next thing you know, you're watching kitten videos. Like, how does that even relate? You know what I'm saying? So watch out with Google, man.
Like, at the end of the day, I feel like media is the one that has that hand and that stronghold causing folks to be that way or think that way.
I guess I literally listened to the prompts, does Islam promote violence? And I'm only speaking not from my personal perspective, but just from trying to understand how discussions about this religion can be used to defame it, to justify terrorism per se. When somebody says, and for the record, kill a non-believer, let's acknowledge that sentence. And if we're going to reach a conclusion and a solution with somebody who does think this way of us and our faith, we need to understand their argument thoroughly.
I disagree with what you just said.
Please.
I really do, because I read the Quran every day as a practice. And not once in 2019 have I yet gotten to a verse about violence. All of them about mercy of God, turn to God, God is with you. To me, that's an emotional connection.
Okay, I understand.
That is an emotional connection to my Creator.
Sure.
And I'm not going to allow anybody to take that away.
I'll take the statement that you
Please.
gave, kill the non-believers. At the time of the Holy Prophet, the Muslims were in danger. They were the minority, right?
That's what I'm saying.
So, but it doesn't necessarily mean that because we are in danger that whenever there's a non-believer, we kill them. What non-believer refers to are like the Meccans or like the people that were actively going against Muslims and trying to harm us and stuff.
And I wanted this healthy discourse.
Yes, and
because I
agree
dwell
with you.
upon that other perspective. I didn't grow up proud of those verses because I didn't understand them.
Yeah,
But
and
now that I do
sometimes-
have full understanding, I know that it's important to keep not a one-dimensional perspective, but not even accept the others, but thoroughly understand it.
I just want to say something. Like I understand where he's coming from and his point. Yeah, there is a verse that says like kill the non-believers, but again, like it's a misunderstanding from blindly just taking it
you
as
need
a
the
whole.
context.
Yeah, the context was that what she said, like it was referring to those Meccan people who were being aggressive towards Muslims at that time, and that's when it was revealed. So that totally makes sense, like, so yeah. But I understand his point. Like if people were reading it and not knowing the context of it, they would be like, whoa, what's this about,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get where he's coming from. This one's hard. I agree to it.
I would say I agree to it, but I'm not a woman, but like thinking of it as a woman, it is like I would think it's like a major step, and it's something, especially if you don't come from a country or a family or a background where this is the norm, then it's like it's a difficult step.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I get it. I think hijab is not just, a lot of people refer to hijab as a headscarf, but the actual meaning is like, to cover, like,
right,
so from top to bottom,
yeah,
like
to cover your
loose fitting clothes and stuff. And some hijab don't necessarily just mean about clothing, but it also it entails your character or what you say, avoid from speaking harsh languages and stuff like that. But it's a very gray line, because it should be mandatory, but at the same time, I don't know, this is a tough one.
I don't know, it's tough,
because from where I'm coming from, I think hijab needs to be coming from you. It cannot be a rule. Like, yes, it's a rule in Islam, but if you're putting on hijab because your dad told you to, or because the government says you gotta cover up your hair, it's not coming from you, and it's not for
it's not
God.
Sincere.
Yeah, then it kind of,
you don't get the effects of it as if you did it sincerely.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't feel like a comfortness or like, not proudness, but like a sense of peace.
Yeah.
When you actively want to do this, whether it's covering what I'm saying, your physical features, or covering yourself from inappropriate language, talks, events, going certain places, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, basically hijab needs to come from you.
Yeah.
If you're like you're ready, and you genuinely want to do it because of God, because of Allah, and not no one else.
And it's like, also, some people only wear the hijab just the head covering during certain times, and I don't feel like those people should be, you know, treated differently. Yeah. Everybody's at a different stage in their life, you know what I'm saying? And also, I know some people who wear hijab, they just, you know, they'll wear the head covering, but as far as other covering, like maybe like the arms or the legs, they don't do it so much. And it's just the same thing. Like, everybody's on different levels. You can't judge somebody, you know what I'm saying, just based on that. Like, you don't know their life, you don't know their struggle, you know what I'm saying, you don't know their connection with their creator.
Yeah, and hijab doesn't mean that you're better in terms of
just because
being religious.
You see a woman in hijab and you see a woman not in hijab, like, oh, you know, this woman is better than her, you know what I'm saying? You don't know their struggle, you don't know what they're going through, you don't know how their character is, you don't know how they really are, you know what I'm saying? So it's just understanding that, you know, treat everybody the same and have compassion, because you don't know what they're going through.
Yeah, and just know that we're all human, you know.
Yeah,
there's always imperfections,
right? And there's definitely rewards in wearing the hijab. So, you know, just because a woman wears hijab Monday, Tuesday, but doesn't wear it Wednesday, you know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, she's a terrible person, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a journey, you know what I'm saying? It's a journey.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
I have strong feelings. I just feel like it's a woman's right to cover if she wants to. And to tell a woman what to do with her body is totally against our Islamic principles. So,
you know, being a guy here, I just made a really conscious decision to be like somewhat agree, because people don't understand that hijab is like a concept, as far as like, it's not just like the actual headscarf. Islam really promotes the idea of modesty, and that's how you get closer to God. And if you feel like having a headscarf is a way for you to get closer to God, then so be it.
100% agree with that, because it's not just a headscarf, it's your behavior, it's a personality, it's how you treat your friends and your neighbors. Yeah, for a lot of people, the process is build my courage, my bravery, and my confidence, and then wear the scarf. For me, it was kind of reverse. I started with the scarf because I knew that I was not going to build that bravery unless I started wearing it. Because when you put it on, you start acting different, you start acting nicer, you're kinder, because now you're representing your religion.
Strongly. There's something about the hijab. When you put it on, you are just I wouldn't say a different person, but you're more like conscious of what you do and what you say. Like, you don't, I don't know, like, for me, I don't cuss when at least I don't think I cuss when I wear the hijab. And I feel like it's more of like I don't know, like, hey, watch your mouth, like, you have a hijab on, you know? Yeah.
You make me think really deep about that, because I've been struggling. I wore it when I was about 15. I tried it out, but it's been a struggle because internally I want to be a better Muslimah, that I'm going to represent to society before my outer side represents Islam.
I understand what she says. I understand what it means. Like, you know, like, you don't want to be wearing the hijab and be all out, like, drinking and stuff, and then it's a bad representation of Islam.
Yeah, because people would definitely, I have faced discrimination from my religion. I don't even know. I don't be paying attention to people. I mean, I face discrimination for the color of my skin, but as a male in the religion of Islam, people don't necessarily know just by seeing me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is more, I feel like, for women, unless, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got a beard, like, you know what I'm saying? But
now
people don't,
beard
you know
trend.
what I'm saying? A lot of people out there wearing beards.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
they're not Muslim.
But yeah, go ahead.
Over here, so far, alhamdulillah, I don't think I face any discrimination from my religion.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody treat you a certain way just because you're wearing a hijab. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or maybe I was just not paying attention, but...
Yeah, like, I don't pay attention to
But, okay, but maybe in the airport a little bit.
In the airport?
Remember?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's natural. I think a lot of Muslim people, especially women in the airport, have some type of,
targeted,
extra eyes looking at them. But
oh yeah,
other than that, you know.
Okay, I'm just gonna tell you like a really quick story. So I came here in 2016 with my mom and dad just for a visit to visit his family. And I was already engaged to him. He came a year before, 2015, and we got engaged in Singapore. So it was my first trip over to America. And I was at the airport. I don't know which airport. I can't remember.
It was in Detroit. Shout out Detroit.
Was it? And like the person, I guess the immigration officer, I don't know, the one that was looking at my passport, she was like, "Oh, why are you going to Kentucky?" I mean, Kentucky is not really like a tourist destination, so she was, and I wore my hijab, and I said, "Oh, I'm visiting like family," and she was like, "Oh, who?" I said, "Oh, my fiance." And okay, I don't really wear my engagement ring like that because at work I can't wear it because I'm in the medical field, so I usually don't wear it. I wear it on special occasions, and I decided to wear it.
Oh, you wore it?
Yeah, I decided to wear it during the trip, like from the airport and stuff. And I noticed her looking at my finger just to see if
you noticed her physically, like look at her.
Yeah, like trying to look and see, look for my engagement. And she said, "Ooh, that's a nice engagement ring." Like that was so weird that yeah. And she called someone else, a guy officer, and he escorted me to like I don't know what kind of room. It's like a holding room. I was with my parents, and my parents weren't allowed in there. He just took me in. Like he said like, "Okay, you two stay over there," and I had to go in the room, and like they were asking questions like, "Do you know his birthday? Do you have his phone number?" And they actually called him.
Yeah, that's funny. I remember I was getting in the car. I don't know where I was going, somewhere with somebody, and I seen the numbers from Detroit. I'm like, Detroit? Like, I don't know nobody in Detroit. But I was like, let me answer it because I know her flight is connecting in Detroit. Maybe she's trying to call me.
Thank God, because you don't answer.
So, yeah, I don't answer random numbers because I had got cussed out one time. But anyways, so I answered it, and they was like, "Oh, do you know such and such?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know her. It's my fiance. She's coming to visit." And it was like, "All right," and then they hung up. Like it was like very short.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a harsh interrogation or anything. He was just being casual, but he was, like he was asking questions. And I knew coming into America, like I've read up online that their custom checks are really, really like no joke. So I was kind of prepared for it, but I was a little taken aback that they kind of took me out of everybody. Like everyone in the line, they kind of took me in.
Yeah, you have your job on, they're gonna.
Yeah, and again, it comes with the territory. I can't get upset for that because, the past and, all these media stuff. I feel like being Muslim, especially a Muslim woman wearing hijab, you can't. It's difficult, but you just cannot let them get to you. Once you get upset that they're taking you out because of what you're wearing and stuff, that's kind of what they want you to like
that's what they expect to see.
And then you get all riled up, and it's not gonna go anywhere. Just be cool, inshallah. If it's Allah will protect you. You just gotta be cool and just answer truthfully.
Because a lot of these people, especially in America, they've never knowingly encountered a Muslim. So if they'll base a lot, first impression is everything. They'll base a lot of what they think off meeting you. You know what I'm saying? And I know some people don't have good days, some people have bad days. You know what I'm saying? You just got to be mindful that like this could be the one moment when they be like, "Hey, I met a Muslim and they were pretty cool." Like they weren't what the media or somebody else told me. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to keep that in mind.
And like also, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, like it is difficult wearing a hijab in a country that's like very controversial with this issue. You just gotta think like, maybe it's more reward for you. Maybe it's more blessing for you. You go through a little bit of hardship for a lot of reward. You don't know that. So, just be positive.
Discrimination for my religion. 3.
I also want to say one time I think it was just after Jummah, after the Friday prayers. Christians go to church on Sunday, Muslims go to church on Friday. We went to the mall.
I remember.
You know what I'm saying? I had on my kufi, and I had on a thobe. A thobe is like really, it's like, I think, more of an Arab culture dress. But since, you know what I'm saying, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was, you know, Arab, then, you know, it's kind of like sunnah or whatever. But anyways.
Is it sunnah? I didn't know that.
I mean, if anything the Prophet did is sunnah, right?
I guess. I don't know.
The
Prophet, I didn't know. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So anyway, you know what I'm saying? Don't quote me on that. Look, I'm not ashamed. Anyways. I was wearing this gear, you know what I'm saying? This was my gear, you know what I'm saying? And I had on my Birkenstocks because, you know what I'm saying, I felt some type of way. Anyways, I go up in Foot Locker, and your man's just straight up ghosted me. Yeah. Like I didn't exist. I was just like, wow. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And I knew if you came in with like a normal attire, they would at least say hello. Like, can
I've been in Foot Locker many times in regular clothing and gotten a, hey, what's going on? Can I help you with something? At least. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you looking at the new Jordans, baby? No, I'm not. I'm broke. Anyways, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy. But I ain't let it affect me. I walked out, you know what I'm saying? I left. I wasn't going to buy anything anyways. 'Cause like I said, I'm broke.
2, 1.
Though I'm not a traditional Muslim female, I don't wear the scarf. When I was younger, I'd be walking home from the masjid with my mom. She wears the hijab. This was before September 11th even happening. She would get teenagers in cars driving by, spitting on us, cursing at us. She would always say, just brush it off.
Yeah.
When you show that you're a Muslim in any way, people kind of, like, you get those glances every so often. But what happened was that after, like, all this, like, election things happened, it's funny, people who you grew up with, people who you knew your entire lives are kind of looking at you a little differently. You know, so that kind of threw me off a little bit. I was like, wait a second, like, you know me. I didn't think this was an issue.
Exactly. When I first, you know what I'm saying, I wasn't born Muslim. I converted in 2011. When I first became Muslim, people was like trying to look at me like I changed. You know what I'm saying? And of course, my behavior became more of a, you know what I'm saying, cautious behavior. Like, oh, I don't want to do something that I'm not supposed to do. This type of thing. And people looked at me or like had that vibe, or you know what I'm saying, like I changed. Like technically I did change for the better. Like I just became a better version of me, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, people really changed around me. Like they changed the most. And like I don't fault them for that, you know what I'm saying? Cuz you know what I'm saying, something they don't know, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like people thinking like they don't think like, oh, I'm treating this person different because of what, you know what I'm saying, he did. You know what I mean? Because he became Muslim. People don't think about that. They just think like, oh, he's different because he's not doing what we used to do, or he's doing this now, or he's wearing thobes. Like it looks like a dress. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just want to put that out there.
You know? I personally have not experienced explicit discrimination. I conveniently can shave my beard and try to compensate almost, and it's sad to admit, but I know it's not my job to create a comfort space for another person. However, I would say that if you do guys confront it explicitly, try to think of it as an opportunity to teach as opposed to reacting with emotion.
I think it also depends on what the encounter is. Like I had a beer bottle thrown at me after 9/11. I'm not going to go confront that person and be like, hey, let's build bridges.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's not, no. But if there's someone who's got a little bit of an attitude or, you know, misconception, I'll work on that.
Women are equal to men.
I'd say in Islam, women are equal to men in a different way.
Yeah.
Being,
I would say it's like men, first of all, men and women are different. Yeah. Different, clearly. We're different. We're totally different. You know what I'm saying? Like, one's a man, one's a woman. We have similarities, we have differences, but we're, at the end of the day, we're different. We're not, you know, two men are the same. Not a man and a woman. It's not the same. I would say men and women are equal in the sense that they have different responsibilities, different ways, or different I'm blanking on the word I'm trying to use, but anyways, they have a different level of power with each other that equals them out.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Yeah, I think that's what I was trying to say.
I feel like, yeah, women and men, we're created differently. I have ovaries, you don't.
Yeah, different hormones, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a bunch of stuff.
And okay, here's something I really want to address, and I may have backlash for it, but this is what I feel. I feel like this generation is all about women trying to empower themselves. Great, power to that. But I feel like we're trying to be men. Like,
yes,
we're trying to, let's get this. Was like, why can men do this and we can't? Why are we equating ourselves to men? We're clearly different, and like, I feel like we want to be men so much that like we're saying like, oh, being hard and like, just being hard and being, I guess you can say manly almost, is like power, and being nurturing, being caring, being compassionate, the normal, I wouldn't say normal, but what women are inclined to do is being looked upon as you're weak. And I don't understand, and I disagree. Like, we
have different roles, but that doesn't make one less meaningful than the other. We have different roles. Like, for example, like on a basketball team, the tall guy, your role is to get rebounds, play defense around the rim. The short guy, your role is to pass the ball, dribble fast, shoot. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have roles. The men and women have roles, and together you make a team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't be a team just by yourself. You know what I'm saying?
It's all about yin and yang. You can't have this imbalance of like, oh, let's all be men, or let's all have the same ability, or you know.
That's like if the sun got mad at the moon
and took over
and tried to be the moon. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what are you doing? You're the sun. You have a certain role, you know what I'm saying, that you got to fulfill, and the moon has its role. You know what I'm saying? Like day and night. We can't have all day. I know some places in the world might have all day, but that's different. That's just the way it was created. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't. Like, what are you doing? It's like if you, excuse me for my language, you pee and you poop. You know what I'm saying? You can't poop out of the place that you pee, because that, can you imagine? It'd be terrible. But at the same time, they both have an equal function. You know what I'm saying? They just have, they do different things. They do different roles. But at the end of the day, they come together as a team to help me get rid of that stuff. You know what I mean?
And I think in Islam is such a huge misconception. A lot of people think that women are not equal to men, are lower class than men. And you know what? I feel like a lot of it has to do with culture. I'm not Arab, but like certain parts of the world, like that are Muslim, a majority, they have this kind of culture where the women, are looked upon as second class. Yeah,
or being like oppressed. But at the same time, I feel like that comes with the territory of everywhere. Like, because for some reason we tend to, like, even if you have this religion, we tend to like grasp a hold of our culture almost even tighter. And like, oh, this is a must. I can't go anywhere without this. You know what I'm saying? Like, and at the same time, it can be like your religion to let you know, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Your religion can be one thing, and for example, a Muslim guy could be a Muslim and have his culture or whatever, wherever he's from, and somebody who's not Muslim sees him, but he's doing his cultural thing, like, oh, I didn't know Muslims did that. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, no, that's not a Muslim thing, that's a cultural thing. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's doing because of his culture. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. You're supposed to filter your culture through your religion. You know what I'm saying? Whatever your religion is okay with or doesn't have any problem with, then you can keep it. But if you know what I'm saying, if your culture, you know what I'm saying, oh, it's in our culture every Tuesday we gotta go outside and pee on the ground, like, no, what are you doing? Stop it. You know what I'm saying?
If you filter a culture out, Islam is a religion that promotes equal rights for men and women. Like, in terms of like the Sharia law. Again, Sharia law has been very like controversial, but part of Sharia law states that the women will have the primary custody of the kids, and also like there's a lot. Okay, I mean, I'm not like an expert in Sharia law, but there's a lot of laws that protect the women, and Sharia law is like made to protect the women and protect women's rights, because some countries and their culture, again, like I said, they favoritize, is that a word? Favoritize favors men, you know, and you know, they have more rights, quotes unquote. Yeah.
And one more thing I want to say about the culture thing, like the reason we were all made different, with different skin color, with different cultures, different backgrounds, was to get to know each other and get to know each other's culture and background. This racism stuff is ridiculous. Yeah. Like if we were meant to all be one color, we would have been one color. You know what I'm saying? If we was all supposed to have the same culture, we would have had the same culture. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We were made with different skin and different culture, not to divide, but to come together and be like, oh, you're green. Oh, what do you eat? Oh, okay, let me try. You know what I'm saying? It's like coming together. It's like, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
3, 2, 1.
I'm gonna somewhat change mine. Wow. I had to think about it.
So the reason I stood on agree and not strongly agree is that my understanding of human beings is that that women and men in general have different roles. Mm-hmm. You know, men cannot bear children, women do. Right. In Islam, there's no discriminatory thing. There's nothing that a man can do that a woman cannot.
And I don't have to prove otherwise except to cite in the Quran when Allah addresses us believing men and believing women. Same level.
No, disagreed. I
read the Quran.
Verbatim.
So you can't tell me.
This, in the court of law, the Quran explicitly states two female witnesses carry the weight of one male. And that's why I stood over there. I personally feel, and if it were up to me, it would be 50-50. There is no discrimination on my personal bias, but
why are you standing there?
I'm acknowledging that the Quran prescribes something here, right?
No. In Islam, we do get equal opportunities. Scientifically, no, we're not equal. Because men can do things physically that we can't do. Women can do things that men can't do. So my question would be, what aspect are we discussing?
Sure. Personal belief versus Islamic belief versus societal belief, that's three different things. If I'm saying personally, I believe women can be greater than men. I believe women have...
Islam says that.
However, can you acknowledge one thing?
Islam promotes that completely.
Another thing I want to say real quick is, it's not a competition. You know what I'm saying? Like, men and women, it's not a competition.
I know. That's
like, oh, I'm better than you. Like, at the end of the day, what are we doing here?
We're like comparing apples to oranges. We're different. You know, we're fruits, yeah, but you can't compare apples to oranges and try to compete. They're both tasty. It's just in a different way.
What are we doing?
Yeah, we gotta stop all this competition. I don't get it.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Really, yeah.
You can be Muslim and part of the LGBT.
Ooh.
What do you think?
Okay, this is a tough one.
I would say, first off, there are Muslims that are lesbian, gay, bi, transsexual. Just because everybody is. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's lesbian, gay, trans. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying every religion, culture, community, wherever you want to say nowadays, it's probably somebody, you know what I'm saying? There's probably somebody from your culture, your religion, your street. You know, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's not like it's just a thing. It is what it is. I don't even know what to say. Like, there are people that are lesbian, there are people that are gay, there are people that are bi, there are people that are transsexual, there are people that are queer, but at the same time, that's not all they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, they also like spaghetti. They also play basketball. They also don't play basketball. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so a person who's lesbian might be lesbian, but that doesn't mean they can't or be anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're lawyers, they're doctors, they're basically janitors, they're everything. You know what I'm saying?
Category.
Like, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's right or wrong, that's not for me to decide. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But as far as can they be a Muslim and be in the LGBT community, I would say yeah.
Okay, so my opinion is slightly different from yours. I know for a fact, you know, Islam, you can't be attracted to the same sex, or you can't have homosexual relations. But
excuse me,
I feel like everyone has their own set of trials and tribulations, and you know, like in Islam, we all know that this earth, this dunya, is a place for tests and tribulations, and then after the afterlife, you know, heaven or hell is the, I guess you could say, reward or punishment. And everyone is made to have certain types of tests and tribulations in this world. And some people, their tests could be that, you know, they are Muslim and have sexual feelings for the same sex, and that's their tests and tribulations. I think you can be Muslim. I mean, you are, how do you say it? To me, I feel like you can be, you are Muslim, you know, if you know, do the shahad, like if you believe in Allah and you believe that Prophet Muhammad is the last messenger, like that entitles that
basically that makes you Muslim.
Yeah, you know, exactly. And like, again, like, you know, some people don't pray 5 times a day, they're Muslim. Some people don't fast, they're still Muslim, because they believe in that. Whether you're practicing or not, that's a whole different story. And some people are lesbian, or, you know, they're gay and they're Muslim. And again, it's your test, you know. And I feel like as a Muslim, the thing that I really like despise is when our Muslim brothers and sisters reject like these people.
Yeah, man, that's...
I feel like, you know, like, you can only be judged by your creator. You know?
You can't.
We humans, we can't judge other people, because we also have our own. You know, we have our own imperfections and stuff. And who are we to judge them? You know, is there trials and tribulations? Just gotta be compassionate. You know,
be compassionate, understanding, and just, you know, like, how can the woman who's smoking a cigarette outside the masjid judge somebody who's, you know, lesbian, gay, bi, or transsexual, queer?
Yeah, you know, smoking is haram.
Like at the end of the day,
nowadays,
we naturally judge each other. We naturally look to compare. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have some competition or some type of feeling like we have to see where we rank against someone else. You know what I'm saying? And that in itself is a trial. You know what I'm saying? The first person who committed racism was the devil. You know what I'm saying? The shaitan. He seen Adam and was like, I'm better than him. You know what I'm saying? You made me from fire. You know what I'm saying? He's made from clay. I'm better than him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
It's such a broad question that I'm going to stand here just to be on the safe side.
I'm a contradictory human being. I pray with one hand and commit sin with the other. So I'm not in a position to be able to tell somebody that they're excluded from a whole faith if perhaps their faith in God is stronger than mine.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can be anything and be a Muslim. But I guess the reason I'm standing here is because Islam is a law about the progression of the human race and about what is natural and what is not. Islam doesn't necessarily support like the lifestyle of the LGBT community. However, they do support them as human beings, and that is something like you know, something that I struggled with, because they have my 100% love and support. I take a bullet for anybody. I don't care what their sexual orientation is. My best friend, he's gay, and we've had these conversations before, and he's told me that, you know what, Husna, I love you for you. I love you for everything that we've been through together. I don't care what it is that you stand for, and that's, you know, it's really comforting to know that you don't have to support a lifestyle to support a human being, to love a human being, and to love people unconditionally.
I love what you said. Yeah, and that's why I'm here, because the prompt was, can you be LGBTQ and Muslim? And yes, you can be anything and Muslim. If we're gonna get into the logistics of lifestyle practices and the core of scripture, yes, there are different lifestyles or things that are asked for in scripture, but there's nothing that says they are not welcome in the faith, they are not welcome in our houses of worship, they cannot pray, they cannot stand beside us, they don't fast. They are people.
It's very hard, I would say, to be a Muslim and, you know, part of the community.
I agree with you. Beautiful statement.
I am American.
What? I'm not, so I have to stand there.
3, 2.
I was born in America, so that makes me American. Yes, I am American.
Yeah, I'm
an American.
So. I guess I just want to see if they're American or not. Like Muslim and American.
I swear I'm not trying to make this controversial, but I somewhat disagree because I'm first Afghan. Then I would say I'm American.
So I do identify as Syrian first. And so what is America? So for me, that identity, because I grew up not feeling like a minority. And I was always proud American. I didn't talk about my Syrian heritage. I wasn't familiar with it. And then the last decade, it was like, whoa, I kind of whitewashed my history to be the proud American, to fit in. And everyone was like, if you took off your scarf, you'd be just another white girl. It's just, there's a battle. Like, I'm proud American, but it's like, what does American mean right now? With everything that's happening.
As a Muslim who just happens to be black in America, I've never not known this to be my country. Because that's what this country was founded on.
That's my
being able to be who you are. Having the freedom to be that and not feel persecuted. And so, yeah, that's how I live my life. And I'm not going to let anybody force me or talk me into thinking differently.
So who wants to have coffee and continue this conversation?
Yeah, let's go to Starbucks.
I love how you always bring up another side to it. It's great. It's great.
I think like we as, I mean, not just as Muslims, but people, we gotta kind of put ourselves in another person's shoes when they bring up like a different perspective and try to understand where they're coming from. It's not easy, especially if you're, you know, like you're set in your ways or you strongly believe in something, but it's always good to see the other side and self-reflect on, you know, like
it's hard for us as people to not look at a situation only through our perspective. We for some reason it's very difficult, and it happens not enough for us to like, oh, let me look at life through this person's lens. Let me take a moment to think like, oh, how does this person go through life? What are their trials? What are their tribulations? What are their, you know, what do they have to go through based on their religion, race, attire, sexuality? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, if we just we won't take the time because, you know, we are selfish in nature, but I think that would be beneficial to the world if we did that. But, you know,
and if everyone have a little bit more compassion, understanding, the world would be a better place.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, that's the end of the video. Make sure you hit subscribe. Is that what you usually say?
That's what I usually say. And make sure y'all check out Shakespeare 101. It's a podcast I do with my mans. We talk about different things. We talk about the deen. We talk about coming into this religion, you know what I'm saying, not being born into it, coming into this religion not having a specific type of upbringing in the religion, you know what I'm saying? And we also talk about other stuff like gaming, rap. I don't know. I don't really talk about rap. He like rap. Yeah, just tune into that, man. I'll put the link in there at the end of this video. But as far as this goes, I think this is. You got anything else you want to say?
No, I'm good.
All right. I catch you on the flippity flop. Assalamu alaikum.